welcome back to another episode of The Agent's Edge. My name is Ryan Polimeni, and today we are going to be talking about managing your business and managing your business finances. This is the most important part of your business. This is where a lot of agents get this part wrong. Don't get it wrong. We want you to try to get it right today. So let's talk about tracking systems. We're going to talk about knowing your numbers, your profit and loss. See, these are all really important aspects to understanding your business and understanding what the numbers really look like. Because here's the problem. A lot of times we have this illusion of what is actually going on in our business, or we think we're making a ton of money, we see the cash coming in, but the reality is it's all going out. So, are you making money? Are you keeping money? Are you profitable? How can we get even more profitable? That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm fired up because, look, here's the reality. The reality of this whole situation is most people are not tracking this stuff. And it's simple stuff we got to track. Meaning if you are a personal producer, you need to know your numbers. You need to know your numbers all the way down to the T, because for people that are coaching you, people who are mentoring you, just knowing your numbers and providing a simple tracking system allows us to help you get your business to the next level. So here's what I mean by this. As a personal producer, you need to be tracking a few basic things. Number one, you need to be tracking your dials. Most of us are not tracking the amount of dials. This all goes back to the activity in your business. You want massive results, start taking massive action. But if you're going to take that action, you've got to track it. You've got to know what's going on. So when you're just sitting down for a dial session, something as simple as just hash marks on a piece of paper, track your dials, right? Because the reality is so many people, they come to us, or they come to me, and if I'm coaching somebody, and they're like, look, spent the entire day dialing yesterday. It did me 52 dials. I'm like, what did you do the rest of the day? Meaning, like, are you working, or are you doing this thing part-time, or are you doing this in your spare time? You've got to decide what your business is. Is it part-time, full-time, spare time? What are you doing? Because based on the answer you can give us is based on the activity that you should have on your tracking sheet, right? So for an example, if you are a full-time producer and you are running less than 10 appointments a week, and I'm telling you, you should be ashamed if you're doing less than 10 appointments a week if you're full-time. But I'm just using that as a number. If you're doing less than 10 appointments a week, you are not a full-time producer. But Ryan, I'm working really hard no, I don't want to hear it. Like, you can pick up a phone book and just dial through the phone book and find 10 appointments. So define your business. Don't go to your manager. Don't come to me. Don't come to and say, oh, I did 52 dials this week and I booked 3 appointments. Now, if you're part-time, right, and you have 1 day a week to produce, well, okay, I'll accept that. But if you're full-time, it's got to be a minimum of 10, but realistically, you've got to be doing 15 to 20 appointments as a full-time producer. But that comes with tracking your numbers here. So you need to track your dials. So if you're sitting down and I'm going to use full-time producer. If you're sitting down as a full-time producer, 200 to 300 dials a week minimum. Minimum. Some of you will be able to hit your goal in 100, but most of you, it's going to take you that 200 to 300 dials to get 15 to 20 appointments, because you're going to be dialing all sorts of different types of leads. If you got brand new leads, don't get me wrong, it makes it a little bit easier, but a lot of us watching this are not working 100% brand new leads. Some of you are on different budgets than other people. It's okay. Whatever you're working, just understand you have got to put in the activity, whatever it takes to get 15 to 20 appointments. So what does that mean? That means you might have to do 700 dials a week. Now, when I first started, I remember when I first started, I was so broke that I could not afford leads. Luckily, my manager gave me 2-year-old leads. That was how I started my financial career, working 2-year-old leads. I had to make up for numbers what I lacked in skill. I had to make up for numbers what I couldn't afford to make up in skill, right? I couldn't afford new leads, so I had to work the aged ones. If you're in that same scenario, it's okay. But that is going to take an insane amount of dials to get what you need, and that's fine. I did 700-800 dials a week. My first couple weeks, 700 to 800. And that was only to get 10 appointments, working 2-year-old leads. Are you willing to put that work in? See, you got to be tracking this. So track your dials. Next thing you need to be tracking is your contacts. So let's say you've done 200 dials, how many contacts did you make? Well, keep track of that too. If you did 100 dials and you contacted 10 people, write that down on your tracking system. Why is this important? Because if your next thing, if your contacts to appointment ratio sucks, then we know we need to work on something. So track your dials, how many contacts did you make? Then off of those contacts, how many appointments did you book? So here's the first part of helping you as a personal producer. If I'm mentoring you, or if your manager is looking at your tracking system, and they see week after week, and the reason I say week after week is because we all have really crappy weeks. There's going to be a week where you get a hold of 10 people and you book one appointment. It sucks, but it's just part of the business. So, but that's where consistency comes into play. So if your contacts to appointment ratio over the course of, 30, 60, 90 days has a pattern of poor results, well, it's really easy for your manager or for somebody who's coaching you to understand and realize that you're having difficulties on the phone. Because if you're consistently talking to 10 and getting 2, that's a really poor ratio, especially if you're working new leads. It's a really poor ratio. And again, I'm using new leads, don't get me wrong. On age leads, that might be the ratio. But if you're working new leads and your contacts to appointment is 20, 30%, it's really easy for us to reach down and say, listen, Bob, listen, Jim, Mary, we got to help you on the phone because it's apparent that you're struggling. And if you're struggling like that and you're investing money week after week, month after month into leads and you're getting mediocre results, how long can you stay in business for, right? How are you going to get profitable? But if I can see in about 30 seconds by looking at your tracker report that you're having those issues, and I can step in and show you how to increase your dials to appointment ratio from 20, 30% to 60, 70%, well, now you doubled the amount of appointments that you have, which gives you double the amount of opportunities to sell in the home. Again, 2 times the amount of in-home presentations can actually double your production. So the next thing you've got to track is, now that you've got your dials, contacts, appointments, out of your appointments, what is your sit ratio? Meaning you've made 10 appointments, but when you went to people's houses, only 3 people were home. So you booked 10, but you only sat with 3, right? Again, here's the next way we can help you. Obviously, you're having difficulties tying the appointment down on the phone. So in that scenario, what we can do is step in again and show you how to tie down your appointments better. I mean, this is really basic yet simple things that you've got to start mastering your business because it's all important. The next thing you need to be tracking is the amount of sits to the amount of applications that you've taken, right? Because again, if you're sitting in 10 houses but you're getting 1 or 2 applications, we need to work on your in-home sales presentation. And that's a really simple fix for, your manager to help you with, especially if the person who's coaching you has a proven track record of results and success. Don't be afraid to reach out. Look, the numbers are going to hurt for a while. And if you are 2-3 years into the business and you're not actively tracking this, I hate to break it to you, but when you start tracking this, it's going to be painful because you're going to start seeing what is really happening in your business. But you can't be afraid to know your numbers. This is what's going to keep you alive in business. And you can't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. If not, you're not going to be in business long. And we want you to be. We want you to succeed. I want you to succeed. If I never meet you, I want you to succeed. I want to know that this show has helped you succeed just by making this simple change in your business by tracking your numbers daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Watch what happens to your business when you do. So, your appointments to application ratio, what is it? Then the next thing we want to know is, are you tracking the amount of production premium that you did every single week? So, for example, if you wrote 10 applications, are they all life insurance? Okay, great. How much life insurance premium did you collect this week? Then what you need to do is track it the next week and track it the week after. Because what you're going to start seeing is a consistent pattern in what your application to annualized premium ratio is. So for an example, if you're collecting 10 applications a week and your average premium is $1,000 in annual premium per case, Well, it's awesome. You're doing $10,000 a week in production. However, if you're collecting those same 10 applications and your premium is $3,000 a week, all right, maybe you had a bad week, but if it's consistently low, well, then we know, again, as managers, that I have to show you how to increase your premium per sale. Well, how do you do that? Well, it could be, taking multiple applications in a house. It could be that you're afraid to show high premiums, which a lot of producers are, because, again, if your finances aren't exactly where you want them to be, and you're out there showing high premiums, a lot of producers get nervous. So are you nervous showing high premiums? Well, I can teach you, or your mentor can teach you, how to mentally get over that challenge and start showing high premiums. That will help you increase your production. But you see, again, if you're not tracking your numbers, we can't help with that stuff. So 10 applications a week. What's your life insurance premium? What is your index universal life premium, or IUL premium? What's your annuity premium? If you go 90 days and you're collecting 30 applications a month, all right, that's 30, 60, 90 applications in 3 months. If you do not have any annuities in there, well then again, we know that you're struggling with annuities, or maybe the reason that most producers don't ask for annuities because they simply don't understand how they work. Are you having that issue? Right? If you're doing really, really good in your life sales, but you have no annuity production, guess what? You want to talk about becoming more profitable? What if you can keep doing exactly what you're doing on the life, keep cranking out the life insurance numbers, but now you add $200,000 or $250,000 a month to your production? Man, what does that do for profitability? I mean, what if you added another $6,000, $7,000 a month to your bottom line for doing nothing but adding annuity premium in there? If I'm coaching you and I'm looking at your business tracking system and I see that your life insurance is awesome but your annuities suck, then guess what? It allows me to step in and help you increase that part of your business and ultimately help you become more profitable. So guys, make sure that you are tracking this stuff every single day. Listen, do me a favor. Email us at info@ryanpolimeni.com, and what I'm going to do is we are going to send you for free, just because I want to help. We're going to send you a universal business tracking system that my agents use, that I use, that the agents that I'm coaching use, and this will be a game changer for your business. Very simple Excel spreadsheet, but again, listen, these are the basics. I know that this stuff is mundane detail. Here's what I'll tell you. If you master the mundane, you will be more profitable than you could ever imagine. So make sure you email us. And do me a favor, guys. Listen, all the stuff that we're going to be giving and providing, do me a favor. Give me your results. Tell me your stories. Take my business tracking system. And again, I don't care if we do business together. Now, that's not what this is about. This is about helping you. Take my business tracking system. Use it for 30 days. And give me a comment. Shoot us an email. Go on our Facebook. Leave us a comment, or on our YouTube channel. And let me know if this has helped you, scared the hell out of you, made you more profitable. I don't care. I want to know your horror stories, because it's not all going to be good. Some of you that start using this are going to be disgusted, but guess what? That is a starting point for you to increase your business. That is a starting point for you to take your business to the next level. I'm okay with you being disgusted. I'm okay with you leaving a comment saying, damn, I didn't realize it was this bad. But thank you, because now we're going to get profitable. Give me give me the horror stories, but listen, give me some good stories too. I want to know that because you use something like this, or whether you use my system or your own, that this simple change in mindset helped your business grow to the next level. Let us know. I'm excited to hear about your success and your growth. Now, if you are a team builder, here's another thing you need to be focused on. Taking the same concept, but putting it into team production mode. So here's a few things you need to be tracking. And this is something that really blew my mind as I've been coaching a lot of people in the building aspect of this business. And what I realized is a lot of producers, a lot of team builders rely heavily on the company that they represent tracking all this for them and hopefully giving them a report at the end of the week. Listen, you are a business owner. Especially the minute you start recruiting, you give up the right to be average. You don't have that right anymore. So you have to start being extraordinary in your business and tracking your numbers and knowing your team's production numbers. Don't rely on anybody else but you. Don't rely on your company to track this stuff. Don't rely on your grandma to track this stuff. It's all about you. You rely on you. All right, so track your team's production. The same thing. Look, track your team's application flow every single week. It blows my mind that producers don't know their team's app flow. Well, how do you know if you're growing if you don't even know the applications coming through your agency every single week? Know your numbers on there. Know what your close ratio is. How many leads is your organization getting every single week versus how many sales are they making? See, what a great way. We already just talked about how to increase your sales, but in order to take your business to the next level, if you're tracking your team's results, could you imagine looking at your team's production report and saying, wow, dang, we smoked it on life, but we suck in annuities, right? How do you talk about taking your team to the next level? It's simply by looking at what the team is doing and adding or filling the gaps or training on what is lacking. If there's no annuity production going on in your organization, guess what? That's a great way to step in and say, look, team, we're kicking ass on life, but we suck in annuity sales. It's time for us to get learning. It's time for us to start asking some right questions in the house. And it's time to start adding, $250,000 to $1 million a month. If you've got 10, 15 producers out there that are kicking butt and taking names, God, if you're not writing $1 million a month with 15 people, it's a big, big problem. What if you had a 1% spread on that? Think about that. If you could get your team doing $1 million a month in annuity production, and you have a 1% spread on that, how much did you just add to your business revenue? It's crazy. It's crazy when you start thinking about what your team is missing. But how do you know what your team is missing if you're not tracking it? Right? We fly by the seam of our pants. I see it all the time. You've got to change the way you do business if you want to get it profitable, if you want to take it to the next level. Here's something I hear all the time. I want to make $1 million a year. Okay, awesome. First and foremost, are you in the system to be able to make $1 million a year? Second of all, are you tracking your numbers to make $1 million a year? Third of all, do you know what it takes to make $1 million a year? Well, if you're tracking your results, you know how close you are or how far you are away. This is so important, guys, to know your numbers. Now, also, what are your year-to-date numbers? Are you growing year over year? Or are you reliving the same year over and over and over again? You got to know. You've got to track this stuff. All right. Simple profit and loss statement. So now that you've got your numbers tracked, it's time to know if you're making money, how much you're spending, if you're profitable, or if you're in the negatives. So I want you to focus on this. I want you to focus on a simple profit and loss statement that is only, just for the time being, and we're going to get into more in-depth profit and loss, but I want you to focus on the amount of lead investment that you make every single week. I want you to track that for 4 weeks. Track how much money you invest in leads versus what your income is off of that investment. So here's an example. If you're spending $1,000 a week in leads, right, that's $4,000 a month. What is your return on investment for putting out that $4,000? Is it $4,200? Is it $5,000, $6,000? Are you making money or are you just breaking even, right? Because you got to think about this. If you're spending $1,000 a week and you're making $6,000 a month, well, you're putting out 4 and you're making 6. Okay, you see 6,000 coming in, 4,000 in leads going out, but you haven't even factored in the rest of your expenses yet. So are you profitable? And if that is the solution, or if that's what's going on in your business, 4,000 and 6,000 coming in, how long can you maintain that in your business before you go out of business? We haven't even talked about taxes coming out yet. We haven't talked about office expenses. We haven't talked about gas, miles. I mean, all this stuff makes a big difference. And it's so important to track this stuff because at the end of the year, when you go to do your taxes, you get to write a lot of it off. But you also have to know if you're making money. I was coaching somebody recently, and it really, it was incredible to see that this individual is going to make $200,000 this year. Numbers look phenomenal. On stage, get a $200,000 income ring, fired up. But when we crack this open, they're making $50,000 in profit. That's terrible. Why? Because they're in a system that does more draining of their income than it does actually putting money in their pocket. A lot of systems, I hate to say this, and maybe you can evaluate your system, but a lot of systems out there are not meant for you to be extremely profitable. If you're buying leads and you have a lead override bill on all your agents, that gets expensive. If you have 4 or 5, 6 conventions a year you got to go to, man, that gets expensive. Is your office bigger than it should be? Right? Are you pressured to try to get too big too fast? Look, guys, focus on you. If you're not profitable, start figuring out what parts of your business are killing you financially and figure out how to change them. If you're in a position where your lead overrides are, $2,000, $3,000 a month, you need to find a different system, because there's no way for you to become extremely profitable in something like that. I'm sorry to say, just reality. I know some people that make $1 million a year and their lead bill is $500,000. Well, some of you guys are going, I'll trade $500,000 for $500,000. That's before taxes, for office expenses. You got to start putting this stuff in. Is it costing you $800,000 to make $200,000? If it is, it's a really crappy ratio. How do you fix that? By figuring out your numbers, knowing your numbers, tracking this stuff. Nip it in the butt before it gets too big. Are you making financial decisions based on your team building strategies, based on how much somebody's going to cost you in lead override? Listen, if that's the case, if you have to make a decision to allow a new agent to get leads versus not get leads, because if that new person gets leads, it costs you $5, $6 a lead, and you know that that person is going to take a month before they start becoming, decent at sales, and you're eating that $600, $700 a month lead bill, are you setting your agents up for failure right off the beginning? Are you making financial decisions for your agents for your own personal gains? I mean, think about that. If you know that a new agent is going to cost you a ton of money in leads, can you really coach that agent to profitability? You've got to evaluate your system, guys. You've got to figure out if you're making money or not. The right system has got to be in place for you to succeed. Again, this is team building stuff, but if you want your team to succeed, you've got to know if you're in the right position to let them succeed, or are you setting them for failure. Important, important, important. So once you've tracked your leads to sales revenue coming in, that's when then at the end of the month, I want you to start adding in all the rest of your expenses, your office, your staff, gas, food, all that kind of. Look, we live life on the road. That can get expensive. Maybe you need to pack some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches if you find yourself, spending a ton of money on the road, because it's really easy to. It adds up quickly. So, guys, listen, here's the thing. Make sure, again, email us, info@ryanpolimeni.com. I want you to get our business tracking system. I'm even going to throw in an application tracking system for you guys so you can track and manage your entire team. Use it. Once you use it, again, send us some comments, but get your team using it. If you guys are building an organization, get your team using it and get them in the successful habits early on. If you're 3-4 years into the business and you're just starting this, well, it's going to take some time to recreate that habit. However, the new people that you're bringing on, this should be a part of your system. Get them in good habits right off the very beginning. So I want you to do this. I want you to click on this video. I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want you to hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, @Ryan Polimeni. Follow us, guys. Let me know what's going on. Give me some comments. Give me some feedback. I got to tell you, we are fired up because next week on our show, we have a top producer right out of Florida who is killing it production-wise. We're talking about $20,000 a month consistently for the last 7 years. You want to know how to get consistent? Make sure you tune into our show next week. You do not want to miss this guy. He is smoking. He's going to give you tips on how to stay consistent. Make sure you're with us every Thursday, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Look forward to seeing you in the next show.